Welcome to Faces of Parkinson's. I'm Robert Cochran, and I'm joined by Debbie from Tikva for Parkinson's. Debbie, how are you?
Fine, and how are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so glad to meet you. You are joining us from Jerusalem, is that correct?
That's right.
So, Debbie, tell me about what Tikva means, first of all, and why you started Tikva for Parkinson's.
Okay, Tikva means hope, and I started Tikva for Parkinson because I have Parkinson, and I was looking for an answer. I was looking for help. I was having problems with swallowing. I needed physiotherapy. I needed exercises that were specific for Parkinson's, and I didn't find it. Um, as an Orthodox Jew, I found nothing that was gender specific.
So, this is very interesting to me, Debbie, that you yourself have Parkinson's. How long have you been diagnosed?
5 years.
What was the feeling when you were diagnosed?
Well, I knew that the doctor was going to tell me that I have Parkinson's because my sister has Parkinson's and I saw all the symptoms. I went to the doctor by myself because I figured there's no reason for me to go with anybody else. And my husband had been telling me for over a year that I should see a doctor who specializes in Parkinson's disease, a movement disorder specialist. Yet, when he told me that I have Parkinson's, I broke into tears. And I looked at him, I said, I'm probably the only patient in your office who ever breaks into tears. And he looked at me and started laughing.
Yeah. So you were, what were you feeling? I'm guessing fear. What all you were feeling?
I wouldn't say fear. It was like something that I really hoped wasn't going to happen had suddenly happened. And it was like I knew that my whole life would have to change. I remember walking home from the doctor's office, and I decided I was going to walk home instead of taking the bus, even though it was like a 3-mile walk, because I knew that a person with Parkinson's has to work very hard to stay physically fit. And I said, I'm going to start right now. And as I walked home, I decided that I'm going to really battle this disease. I knew that there were 3 ways to go to battle. The first way is that I had to really work on my physical health, and that meant exercise, that meant diet. And I remember actually walking past 3 or 4 ice cream stores, and very self-righteously, despite the intense heat, I did not go into them, and feeling very good about myself. I knew that I had to get people on board to help me, my family, and that I would be needing their assistance here. And I also knew that I'd wanted to share with the community. Part of how I would be helping is by sharing my journey with people, because I'm a writer by profession, and I thought that perhaps I could help. And of course, as an Orthodox Jew, I knew that a large part of my battle would be through prayer.
So, many things to unpack there. One thing in particular jumps out. In a major city like Jerusalem, I'm surprised there wasn't other organizations already set to do what Tikva does. Were there other organizations that didn't meet your needs, or?
There is a Parkinson's organization in Israel, but at the time, the Jerusalem chapter was defunct. And there was really nothing available in the city, or very, very little available in the city for anybody. And things that I would feel comfortable that was specifically for women was non-existent.
One of the things we look at a lot, and it sounds like your organization does too, is about isolation, the difficulty, the pain, the real risk of isolation, particularly with Parkinson's. Can you tell me what kind of outreach do you do in order to get people who are feeling scared, feeling ashamed, feeling hopeless, to say, this is somewhere you need to be? What do you do to bring them out of the shadows?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you how the organization started, because I think that's really, really would answer your question. I had heard that the stigma was really, really intense, and people were staying home and not doing anything. And I decided that I was going to really break that stigma, specifically in the Orthodox community. So I made an evening for the community. And I was told at the time that maybe 30 or 40 people would show up. One of the things when I advertised, but I did not say that it was an evening for people with Parkinson's. I said, does someone you love have Parkinson's, and come to this evening to learn about the disease. And I assumed if I wrote that it was not for people with the disease, people with the disease would come, which is exactly what happened. We set up the auditorium. It was a really, my grandchildren made signs on the streets, and we had to put out flashlights. We didn't have enough lights outside for people to come in, and we had like handmade signs from the children outside. It was really very, the whole thing was like on a shoestring. We set up 30 chairs. We had the speakers, and I paid a lot of money for it to have a video because someone said, don't expect anybody to show. And I said, for all this effort, I'm going to have a good video made. Half an hour before the evening started, there was a line going around the block. We had over 300 people showed up.
Wow.
And people were crying. They said, I didn't know. I thought we were alone. I didn't know there was anybody else with this disease. So it was very, very emotional evening. And that was really the beginning. I realized that there were more people like me, and everybody said, well, you made this wonderful evening. What are you going to do next? And so we made this program, and it just developed. We started off with like 5 ladies. We now have close to 100 people, and I don't advertise because up till we don't have room for more people.
Wow.
We are opening up our own center in another couple of weeks. We're doing renovations, and once we have our center open, we'll be able to accept more people.
That's fantastic.
Really expand, but it's people have said it's changed their lives. They're different people than they were a year ago.
Well, it sounds like it's changed your life too in terms of the engagement that you get to, because not only are you engaged in your own Parkinson's, but you're engaged in other people's as well, and you're giving people a real chance to say, look how you live, and look how you can live well if you don't succumb to the fear, the isolation, the terrible things people say about what Parkinson's can be, right?
People come into our organization and they're petrified. I remember one lady came half a year ago, and she walked in, and we were doing physiotherapy, and she started doing an exercise, and all of a sudden she just burst into tears, and she couldn't talk. The same woman who told me that last year, before the Jewish holiday of Passover, she stayed in bed for a month and didn't move and cried the whole time. She said now she made a Seder for like 20 people, and had her family over the entire time. It was so busy. She said she's a different person because she realized that she has this energy within herself. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, one thing we talked about before the show, and we even hit a little bit during the show, which I want to highlight again, is the importance of laughter within this. Because most people, again, they look at the dour, they look at the sad, and they go, well, I mean, maybe we're just going to talk about it, we're going to talk seriously. Sounds like that's not the way you go.
First of all, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not serious. I mean, I might be serious, but I laugh. I'm a big believer that where God put us on this world to have fun. Okay, and we should have a lot of fun while we're here. So that's just part of my belief. One of the ladies, she's a 94-year-old woman named Hannah. We were making joking around, and we were laughing so hard we were almost crying. And she looked up and she said, if people knew how much fun we have, in particular for Parkinson's, everybody would want to have Parkinson's.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, that we have a lot of fun. We dance. It's a great group. But it's not only that we have fun. We work really hard. I mean, we really, we work hard. We do physiotherapy. We do occupational therapy. Speech therapy. We have people who couldn't talk, and now they're talking normally. It's really amazing. Yeah. This is one guy in our group. He's so sweet. I remember he came over and he said, Mrs. Shapiro, can you please do something that I can learn how to talk properly? I lost my voice. He's been speaking like that for about a year. So we started the Lee Silver voice therapy program.
Yes.
And we do it as a group. So it's not really the official group program, but we do all the exercises as a group. And the first time they asked him, the teacher, and it's very funny. She's this sweet little woman with 3 little babies and very young, maybe 21 years old, 22 years old, and beautiful young girl. And all these men are old enough to be her great-grandfather. And she has them under her thumb. I mean, they listen to her like she's, she's the teacher. And she said to them, okay, I'd like you all to scream. They scream. And then she said, okay, Yechiel, now it's your turn to scream. And she was counting. And this guy, who never spoke above a whisper, and we were all expecting to go like, ah, let out a scream that had us all shaking for 23 seconds. The entire room, like we were sitting there, like everybody's face went. We were by the time he finished, we were laughing so hard, and everybody stood up to clap. Yeah, we definitely see miracles. I would say we definitely see miracles.
That's fantastic. Hey, Debbie, I'm sorry we're just about out of time for this time, but we can do this again, okay? Time flies when you're having fun, right? I definitely want to check in with you again, and as I mentioned, perhaps meet up with you at the World Parkinson Congress next year. Are you planning on going?
Be there.
Well, good. Let's make it a date then. Let's make sure we see each other in Kyoto, if not sooner, huh?
Okay, thank you so much, Robert. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Pleasure speaking with you too. For Faces of Parkinson's, this is Robert Cochran. We'll see you next time.